Life, culture and current events from a biblical perspective. 2020 with Neil Johnson on Vision.
Life, culture and current events from a biblical perspective. 2020 on Vision.
You might have heard of the amazing Christian youth organisation called Youth with a Mission, or YWAM. They're operating in centres in 180 nations. Their heartbeat is for young people to make a difference in their world. One of the huge dimensions of YWAM is in their medical ships, and they're rolling out programs for health services right now in Papua New Guinea at the invitation of the Papua New Guinea Prime Minister. Nick Papamichael is an ambassador for YWAM ships, and he's just back from PNG joining us. Hello, Nick. Welcome along to 2020.
Oh, Neil, it's wonderful to speak to you. It's a pleasure to be on the radio with you.
Hey, Nick, a new YWAM ships base in Madang in Papua New Guinea. How big a deal is this?
Oh, Neil, this is historical. YWAM has been working in Papua New Guinea for many years now, and we've established a base in Port Moresby where one of our ships is working from, but we've also been focused on the eastern side of Papua New Guinea. And just recently, the Lord has blessed us with this wonderful opportunity where we've been able to obtain a large base, which also has a wharf. Now, the wharf is monumental because the wharf will allow our ship to come up and be moored, which we'll be able to refit her and get her working. In this facility, we've got a large warehouse space, which we'll be using for multiple requirements. And we've also got staff housing available to us now. So this base going in the future will be a real impact to that whole region from Alatau all the way up to YWAM.
So, Nick, you've got this wharf. You're going to be able to dock your ship there, and there's also connection between the ship and your semi-trailer. You've got a dental semi-trailer, so you've got the sea operations and the land base operation.
Yes, that's correct. Now, that semi-trailer that you're referring to, that's currently at our Port Moresby site. Now, that site at Port Moresby is maintained and managed from our Townsville base, which is YWAM Townsville. The Madang base is going to be managed from our Kona base in Hawaii. What's going to be historical for the Madang site, we have just been working and pioneering a new Bible translation unit with the Bible Society and other partners, where we're going to be able to change the Bible or record the Bible in 30 different dialects. This will be recorded digitally, which will then be able to roll out on a platform right across the whole area of Papua New Guinea. And 30 different tribes are able to listen to the Bible in their dialect. Now, if anyone was wondering why is this so special or monumental, Papua New Guinea runs 930 dialects. People don't realise that in this one culture, there is 930 different ways to speak Tisak or Pidgin. But these 30 we've focused on because they're the most easiest to communicate the Word of God to these people.
So 900 dialects, and we'll all know that while you've got your medical ship, this is a part of who YWAM is, taking the gospel message and even supporting those Bible translation programs for all those different dialects. Hey, the fact that you're able to use your medical ship to go around the coastline, something like 5,000 kilometres of coastline. It's a huge coastline on Papua New Guinea.
Yeah, it's ginormous, Neil. And we're just changing so many lives. And we've got so many projects in the pipeline that's going to spur on for what we're doing. Now, we also believe in not just reaching people's hearts spiritually and changing the culture, but we also believe in real tangible aspects that can change a person's life for their health and also for their education. Now, I'll briefly talk on two aspects that we're focused on pioneering and bringing into focus in the early next year. YWAM has been working with a group of scientists, and we've been working on pioneering this device called an FAD, a FAD. Now, a FAD is a device that we deploy in the oceans. It's lowered to the ocean floor, and the FAD is suspended from a rope, which is hung by a buoy. And this rope, or this FAD, attracts smaller fish to create a habitat. Then the larger fish out in the ocean get attracted in to feed on the smaller fish. What we're doing is creating a sustainable food chain for the locals up and down the coast of Alatau, where currently these fishermen are having to go into very deep waters, into 5 miles plus, risking their lives to catch protein to bring back to the shores to feed their villagers. We knew and we could see that this was an ongoing problem, so we've been pioneering to develop these devices, which we will be rolling out next year, and quite a lot of them, which will be able to attract the fish to come close to shore. This will do two things. It will give them a sustainable food chain and will also allow them to catch and sell the food, giving them a means of finances.
What a great innovation, Nick. And to be able to form a fish habitat and create a sustainable food chain, it really is, as you say, a practical way of not just bringing a message of the gospel, but actually also supporting the local communities.
Correct. And that's one project now. And I'll briefly share a second one that we're really excited about. And this ties up with the gospel, turning it into a digital format. We've been working on this new technology, which is on an SSD drive, a solid state drive, which holds data. But we've been able to engineer it to take a lot of terabytes. Now, what we've been doing is we've been working on a solar-powered device that turns into a hotspot. A hotspot is an electronic device that you can tap your mobile phone into via Wi-Fi and download data. Now, the gospel message, once the Bible's recorded in a digital format, we will be loading it up on these SSD drives. But furthermore, we're also focused on education. And so what we're going to be doing as well is loading up a current curriculum, education teaching that will be loaded into these systems. And then the teachers will be able to hand out tablets, iPads, which they will be able to download a modern curriculum to be able to teach their students. We're now taking the students of Papua New Guinea into a modern teaching format, and we're so excited about that.
So that's teaching, not just Bible teaching, but that's actually curriculum for careers.
Correct. That's correct. And we will also be putting Bible teaching formats on that device as well. Those who are, because YWAM has a lot of teaching curriculum, loads of it. So we'll be loading that up, but we'll also be putting platforms and messages on there. So this device will be a hotspot, not just for the spiritual well-being of the people in the villages, but also for the education of new students rising up.
So the opportunities for the rollout of these devices that you're talking about are absolutely almost endless. I imagine that you're probably scratching your head saying, how are we going to get enough volunteers to actually make all this work? Now, give us some insight here into how YWAM works and how listeners today might be able to connect with and even be a part of these programs rolling these things out throughout Papua New Guinea.
Excellent question, Neil. You've nailed it in one. Okay. Firstly, you do not need to be a staff member or have done any special training to get involved with an outreach. The outreaches going forward, they will be run for 2 weeks. So each outreach will be on a 2-week basis, because we know that there are people inspired to get involved, but they can only take limited time off from work. So we've focused this outreach for every 2 weeks, where we'll be able to bring people to our bases, and then they can get involved in practical ways in working with this, or if they've got some sort of medical background, they can get involved in a medical outreach. So the first step is to come on board as a volunteer and do a 2-week outreach.
So you don't even have to have done your discipleship training program to be a part of those.
That's correct. And we've been doing this now for a few years, and they've been extremely successful. We get professional medical people from all over the world, especially from Australia, wanting to get involved and help the people of Papua New Guinea with a practical means of medical aid. We've also been able to pioneer with the country of Israel. Israel's very focused on what YWAM is doing in Papua New Guinea, and they've been sending out specialist eye surgeons to help pioneer cataract operations. So we've seen a lot of people coming on our ships with cataracts who are technically blind and undergoing surgery performed by the Israelis and going out with perfect vision. It's amazing to see this take place.
So for medical ships, there's opportunities there for nurses, midwives, doctors, educators, optometrists, dentists, dental assistants, small boat drivers, and those who have a heart for community development, but general volunteers across all of these different areas you're talking about. And as you say, some people volunteer because they take a holiday to do that. Others take a gap year. Sometimes
Correct.
School leavers before they go on to university. Is that a popular uptake for young people in YWAM doing a gap year?
Oh, yes, definitely. We've seen people come on board for up to 6 months to even a year. This is not uncommon. Then the other aspect is if someone is inspired or they've got a calling on their lives to do missions, the next step is to get involved in doing a DTS, a discipleship training school. I normally suggest it's like a greenhouse experience, like a glasshouse experience, where you come on base, you have this wonderful relationship, touch the fatherhood of God, and get to know him personally in this in a perfect ideal situation, and you're changed. I did my DTS back when I was 22, and it really was a life-changing experience for me. That put me on the straight and narrow, so to speak.
Well, Nick, a great breakthrough, a YWAM ships base in Madang in Papua New Guinea, and tremendous initiatives with the fish habitat and the hard drives. Just amazing. Let me connect people to you. You can be connected to Nick Papamichael. Here's the website, YWAMshipskona.org. That's YWAM, YWAM, ships, Kona, Kona.org. And Nick Papamichael is an ambassador for YWAM Ships. Nick, thanks so much for a great update on all these new initiatives. Your YWAM Ships base in Madang, that fish habitat, and also those hard drive facilities. Thanks so much for joining us today on 2020.
Thank you, Neil.
Thanks for taking time to listen to this audio on demand from Vision Christian Media. To find out more about us, go to vision.org.au. Thanks for taking time to listen to this audio on demand from Vision Christian Media. To find out more about us, go to vision.org.au.